and we can get right into it. I will actually start sharing my screen. And again, today we're talking strictly on structure. One second. Okay. So now, and in the chat, well, no, matter of fact, not even in the chat, you can unmute yourself. How many like brand new people do we have that actually knows absolutely nothing? No, nobody. I know that's not okay. Me. Okay. I know it's a few people that knows very little, and it's okay. I need the people to understand that everybody who's here today is at a different level. Some things may sound familiar. Some things you may already know. Just know I'm not doing it just to bore you. I'm doing it to make sure that by the end of this course, everybody gets the same information. What you all will realize is that by the end of this boot camp, everything that we speak about today, all the way up to the end of it, is going to add together, right? So I have to make sure that everyone is actually getting each piece and things like that. I struggle to go over the trading view recordings. Okay, not sure what that means. Okay, cool. So again, guys, what I like to use when it comes to, for those who are new, what I like to use when it comes to looking at my charts and everything, I like to use tradingview.com. This is where I will literally mark up my charts. And when I'm marking up my charts, it allows me to determine whether I'm looking for buys and sales in the market. You know what I mean? So with that being said, this is what we will be using. So if you do not have TradingView, all you have to do is go to tradingview.com. And this is where you will get your practice in, like Gigi said. Like, you marking up your charts and you always going, you know, you always doing your due diligence and studying and things like that. You will get better over time. It's not a debate. You can ask any of my students to this day. They will tell you the exact. Gigi was one of the people. I'm one of the people. I seen Yaz was on here. Me and Yaz met back in December, and like, she's a beast on the charts now. You know what I mean? So you using TradingView or any other platform like this is what you want to do. You want to do your due diligence and continue to mark up charts and things like that. Now, can anybody tell me how does the market move? I guess I'm gonna have to open my chat up. Nobody wants to unmute themselves and talk. Anybody tell me? Impulse flag. There you go. Impulse correction continuation. There you go. So yes, but everybody answer. Impulse flag continuation. Impulse, right? Flag continuation. This is like, this move right here is literally like how I see the entire market. This is literally all I see, no matter the pair, no matter the time frame, no matter if it's an indice, no matter if it's crypto, no matter if it's regular Forex pair. People always ask, does this work for this? Does this work for US 30? It does not matter. This right here is all you need to know when it comes to market structure, right? These three moves, this impulsive move, this flag, this continuation, right? AKA a continuation is another word for impulse, right? So this is an impulse, this is a flag, this is an impulse, right? Only reason why we call this a continuation is because this was the first move. If I caught this move and I saw this flag, this was the second move of this first move, right? So, but these are still considered impulses when it's all said and done. So, as an example, if I go to, it doesn't matter the time frame that I'm on, anytime I see the market actually moving, it moves impulse, right? A flag, a continuation, a flag, a continuation, a flag, a continuation. It does not matter. I'm on a 1 hour. I can go down to the 15-minute. Guess what I will see? Right here, this is a down move right here. This is an impulse. This is a flag. This is a continuation. This is a flag. This is a continuation. This is a flag, continuation, flag, continuation, right? It doesn't matter the pair. I'll go to a different pair. Let's go to whatever, something random, RSF, right? This is a what? Uptrend, right? In this uptrend, I got an impulsive move, I got a flag, I got a continuation. I got a flag, continuation. It doesn't matter. I'm on a 15-minute. I can go to the daily. You know what I mean? If I go to the daily, I got this downtrend right here. I got an impulsive move, I got a flag, I got a continuation. A flag, a continuation. This is literally how it moves. I don't care if I go to, now, there's a reason why I'm saying this like how I'm saying it, guys. I need you all to understand. Like impulse flag continuation is like a song in my head now. Ever since, like, that's what I got great at saying. I used to have to write those three words down just so I can remember. Now it's a song in my head, right? So US 30, I'm on a daily. This is an impulse, flag, continuation, right? This is a small flag. This is a ugly continuation, flag, so on and so on. It doesn't matter, right? Does everybody understand that? Does anybody have any questions when it comes to that? No questions. Make sense?
I sometimes have a issue recognizing where it is. Like, I guess because you've been doing it so long, it's just easier for you to spot.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't always see what you see.
You don't know when you say you don't see what I see as far as the flag, as far as the continuation, as far as the chart. Like, what you mean?
Like, just how quickly you just marked that up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in that markup, like I saw where you put your lines, but I still didn't clearly see where the flag was formed. Or you see what I'm saying?
Right. That's a great question. Well, that's a great comment, right? Let's go. Matter of fact, let me take that off. Let's go to a regular pair. Don't want to do too much on US 30 because I don't want you all to get US 30 crazy on me, right? So we're going to go to, let's just go right here. Let's go to GA, right? Can anybody tell me what type of trend this is prior to it breaking through?
Downtrend.
It's a downtrend.
Downtrend, right? So everybody, is it pretty simple for you all to understand? Right, I know, right, Grant? Born Forex fairs, right? People don't get caught up in the actual pair name, get caught up in the money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care like how something pays out. But anyways, you're right. It's a downtrend, right? Does anybody have any issue identifying trends? Downtrend versus uptrend? Nobody has any issue on that, right? So how do I know this is a downtrend? Because actually it broke through, but before it did that, we're just talking about this downtrend I've identified, right? When it shot down, it created a trend. Trends are created, and I'm not sure if Mrs. Brenda is on here, but she reminded me, like, you got to make sure you identify this to people, right? Me and her had a lesson, and she really understood it after I broke it down because I didn't know she was having an issue at that point when it came to that. A trend, you need flags in. You need to see a trend. Is exactly what it says. A trend line is exactly what it does. It identifies the trend. So you need an impulsive move, but you also need that flag, aka that pullback. So this is a flag. This is a pullback. A pullback goes into the opposite direction of your overall move, your overall impulse. So this impulse is going down. This flag is pulling back, so it's going up, right? This is what created the trend. One touch, two touch, I now have a trend. My third touch confirms it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now I know you were saying, I'm sorry, I don't like talking to people without calling them by name. Mrs. Who was speaking, who was saying she has issues seeing it?
Joe.
Josie?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up? Okay, cool. That does not sound like you, girl. All right.
I'm asleep, but I'm
No, you all good. It's all good. Okay, so with the flag, like I know you said you have issues seeing it with the flag and everything. What you're literally looking for is you're just looking for price to give you a pullback pattern. based off of, like I said, this is an impulsive move. Why is this an impulsive move, Josie?
Because it was a hold on a second, I'm trying to get the word. I get bearish and bullish confused as well.
Don't worry
But
about bearish and bullish.
It just was a sharp downward move.
Right. This was a sharp down move. I don't like bearish and bullish is great, like that, you know, that's cool, but we not even there yet. I just want you to know sharp move down, right? And then you got to push up. That's a flag. So if your trend is going down and your move is moving up in that trend, that's a pullback. That's a AKA a what? Impulse. That's a flag. This is a continuation, right? So that's how you actually look at that. If I'm looking at my overall trend and I see prices going up, I know that's a flag. Also, when it comes to flags, they are not as strong right here. So you got an impulsive move. Look how this is a flag right here. Look, it's not as strong as this impulsive move right here. So you just want to look for the pattern in the market. You're gonna get a funny looking, like you're gonna have a lot of choppiness. A lot of choppiness is a great sign that that's a flag. When you got that impulsive move, it's not a lot of choppiness. This right here overall is not a lot of choppiness. Straight down. This right here is not that big of a choppiness right here, but for the most part, because I understand based off of my time frame, price is going in the upward direction on this overall downtrend, I know I'm in a flag. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now, with that being said, does anybody have any questions, any other questions when it comes to these, when it comes to that?
I just want to confirm that when the impulse is a sharp move, yeah, and then the flag is a push up or down, and then the continuation is another impulse. Is that correct?
Bingo. There you go.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know, that the continuation is an impulse also.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Just another sharp move. No problem. So, okay, so everybody understand that? We go to the next thing. The next thing.
I have a question. Sorry, this is Tiffany. I think
go ahead.
One of the issues that I struggle with is how long are you expected to wait for a trend? Because there's, as you see, there's a lot of movement in between, and sometimes those movements in between, I think, are flags.
I understand the question. I hold off on that. We're gonna get to that when it's all said and done. But if you don't hear it answered by the time, because that's gonna be dealing with time frames and things like that. So we haven't talked about time frames yet.
Okay.
So yeah, hold off on that question. We're gonna go a little bit deeper into that and everything like that. So, because like, let's say for instance, matter of fact, I'll just give a small example, right? So let's say for instance, like we see this right here. So I had this trend, this downtrend identified for you all, correct? So kind of to answer that question, Tiffany, a little bit without really going in too deep on time frames and everything. Let's just say all of this did not happen yet. So meaning we don't know this is a downtrend yet. All we know is what? This right here, right? So we're just gonna say, so that downtrend was really hasn't started yet. You really just have to focus on the actual market itself at the time. So at the moment, this was a downtrend. I should have probably deleted this too. So at the moment in this downtrend, what do I see? An impulse. I see a flag. I see a continuation. I see a flag. I see a continuation. I see a flag. I see a continuation. Now, what ended up happening was price broke through here. So now with that, with me seeing that, guess what, Tiffany? This downtrend is no longer valid. Why not? Because we got a breakthrough. So until you see a breakthrough, you know, like you're following this trend here. Does that make sense, kind of, sort of?
Absolutely.
What'd you say?
That makes sense, yes.
Okay, so I just always want you to focus on the actual, and this is why sometimes somebody could have probably saw this right here and tried to sell, right? And they sold and then they end up losing. Why did they lose? Because price, give me 1 second, let me mute this. So with that being said, what was I saying? Oh, yes. I could have sold here, right? Because I was thinking it was going to continue down. And sometimes people do that, right? And we're going to talk about all of that throughout the course of this camp. But as you see, it shot through, right? And then when it shot through, it hit my stop loss or whatever the case may be. Like if my stop loss was here, I sold here, it shot up and hit my stop loss. So typically what you're going to do is you're going to be looking at like trends. You pay attention to that actual trend. Like the market literally follows trends. It doesn't do it on accident. It actually, it literally goes and it literally goes to this trend line or sometimes a little bit past it and it starts to shoot up. But it's patterns in the market that shows me that it's about to do that. So even this example that I actually just showed you, Tiffany, that when it broke through and it hit my stop loss, we haven't talked about this yet, but I have a reversal pattern right here that's showing. So I wouldn't have actually been selling right here because I see price is actually showing me it's about to get ready and shoot up, right? So it's little things over time that we're going to talk about is going to actually help you with those different things. So like if I saw this flag forming right here, this flag right here, I knew I was going to get another drop. I saw this pattern right here, I knew I was going to get another drop. I saw this pattern right here, I knew I was going to get another drop. This one, same thing. This one right here, based off my knowledge, I knew it was going to shoot up because I see it reversing, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, so again, didn't want to give too much on that, but yeah, that's just like a quick basic thing with that. So now with that being said, so everybody, nobody else has any other questions on this right here?
I do. I wanted to know what's the definition of a breakthrough?
A breakthrough is when you get price that breaks through the actual trend. So you see this trend right here, it broke through and it actually gives you a retest. Retest means a flag. So right here, we haven't talked about time frames yet. Right here, you see this actual red candle. This a retest is a flag. That's another word for a flag. This red candle right here on a smaller time frame, guess what that smaller time frame retest is? A flag, just like that, right? Continuation. So when you get a breakthrough, when it breaks through that trend line and then it creates a flag, right? That's your breakthrough of that trend line. Like that means that trend is no longer valid. So now this downtrend, right, is no longer valid when it comes to this down move. We're now in a uptrend. Well, we're up now in the up move. It haven't showed us an overall trend yet for this time frame. But does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So that's all you look for is just look for breakthroughs. So like this downtrend right here. All right. What ended up happening? Gave us, like, this didn't necessarily break through really until, honestly, right here. Once we got that strong, sharp move, this is a breakthrough. This could have been just a flat flag for another drop. But again, based off of where I'm at in the market, I probably wouldn't have been a stranger to seeing that it could have started rising. When I look left, prices in this area, same area, it shot up. So I'm looking left. I'm looking at again, same area, shot up. You know what I mean? So, but just so like not to go too far ahead, but just looking at price, breakthrough, retest, continuation. I got a trend and price shoots through that trend line. That's what a breakthrough is. All right. So any other questions before we go to my next thing I want to talk to you all about? No questions. Everybody got that? Okay. Right? Okay, cool. So now with that being said, can anybody tell me what's my most important candlestick?
Golfing.
Golfing.
Now, is there anybody on here who do not know what an engulfing candle is?
I'm not 100% sure.
Not 100% sure? Okay, that's cool. Anybody else? Do not be afraid. Everybody else know what it is. Okay. So, well, you know what? I'm gonna still do it anyways because some of you all told me you all were new. Anyways, let me go back to GA. I'm not sure why I just left off of GA. We're just gonna use GA as of right now. All right. So the same downtrend. We'll use the same downtrend as a confirmation. So now, what an engulfing candle is, an engulfing candle is a candle that devours the previous candle going into the opposite direction. If you need to write that down exactly word for word, by all means do so. An engulfing candle is a candle that devours the previous candle going into the opposite direction. So what I mean, when I think of the word devour, I always think of, like, I'm a Marvel guy. Like, I love the Avengers and stuff like that. I always think of the Hulk. He devours things, right? He overpowers, he overpowers stuff. He thrashes things, right? So you got this big candle right here, this big candle, and then it's next to a small candle going into the opposite direction. So if this is a small red one, I got a big green one. If this is a small green one, I got a big red one. You know what I mean? It devours that previous candle going into the opposite direction. So let's look at some of the examples. So this downtrend, you can say it officially started right here, or you can say it officially started right here. I'm gonna go with this one because it more suits my actual example. But this overall downtrend that gave us a move of over 1,500 pips, right? If I go to the starting area of where that was at, what started that move to the downside, right? Look at this candlestick right here. Look at this small green one. Engulfing candle. Bearish means going down. Bullish means going up. This is going down, so this is a bearish engulfing candle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions on that? No questions? Okay, cool. So this is a flag. When I started to get my continuation after that flag, what started my continuation? Bearish engulfing candlestick, right? This right here is one big flag right here. What started that continuation? Bearish engulfing candle, right? This right here is a flag. What started my continuation? Like, how did my continuation really continue to go? Bearish engulfing candle. Look at that big red candle, a small green one. Even on the breakout of that candle, big red candle, small green one, right? Is that making sense? Is everybody understanding that? Are you seeing that? This is a flag here. My continuation, what gave me that continuation? This bearish engulfing candle. Why? Small green one. Does that make sense? This was a flag right here. What started it? Look at that small green one. Look at that big red one. Are you all seeing this?
Yeah, question.
Yep.
I heard somebody say question.
Yeah,
Yes.
question. Will it always be at the top? Like, let's say if it's bearish, will that bearish candle always be at the top before, like, it, I guess drop? Because I'm noticing you identifying them at, like, the quote unquote peak before it fell.
Not always, but it's very likely. Like, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's always. And when it comes to trading Forex, right? Nothing's always. But this is like literally, I'm going to go to a couple of different pairs in a minute. The reason why I'm identifying them like that is because with the engulfing candle to me is the most important candle because it literally is telling me that price is about to, because remember, we're looking at all of this right now, and there's probably somebody on here who's just afraid to say it, but they want to say, but it's already happened. So of course you can see that now, but XYZ, right? The reason this is like when I'm teaching and even when you marking up your charts and you going back and forth and you studying, all you're doing is back testing patterns and things like that in the market before it actually happens. So if you notice, like Reggie just said, is it like the reason why I actually like the engulfing candle, because when I identify an engulfing candle, even if I see this candle form and it devours this, good chances are prices is about to continue to keep going in that direction, because now price is no longer in a buyer's market, right? Right here, buyers took over right there. It was a correction, but they took over. Price had to correct. It had to correct from this down move previously. And then when I saw this engulfing candle, that right there allowed me and it informed me that price is about to get ready to continue to go down. So now I'm looking to sell. It's a good, like, well, sometimes will I get a bearish engulfing candle and then price go up some more? Yes, that's what that happens. You know what I mean? But that's why you continue to study and you find other things. These are just certain I'm trying to think of the word. These are just certain confirmations that I use to actually determine whether it's time for me to buy or sell. And when I see an engulfing candle, it's a great opportunity that price is getting ready to actually go in that direction. Perfect example. I'm going to go to EJ real quick. I'm going to actually go to the weekly time frame, or maybe it's the daily. I didn't trade this week, so I haven't really looked at the market. That's not so much what I was looking for right there. So with that being, with right here on EJ, now, granted, it's not the definition, because it's not the very next candle right there, but what type of candle is this right here?
Bullish engulfing.
This is a bullish engulfing. Look at the previous candle going into the opposite direction. Look how it devoured that candle. Look how this bullish candle devoured that. Gives me great knowledge that what? EURJPY over the next course of next week or whatever, guess what I'm going to end up having? Over the next couple of weeks or whatever, I'm going to be looking for price to still what? Shoot up. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody say that again?
Now, just a question. That bullish engulfing candle. You see how you identified the candle that's going, I guess, down the red one. But my point is, the next one, the previous candle right before the bullish is also green. So it's cool to go over one. I go over to the next candle.
Yeah, I don't get caught up. Me personally, I don't get caught up in if it's a green candle in between, or if you know what I mean. Like I've never done that. It doesn't have to be the very next candle in between. If I see this devoured, any red candle going next, I always like to like. Don't get me wrong. This is the best confirmation when the red one is the next one over. That's great. But if I see something like this, this is still an engulfing candle to me. I still look at that and I say, okay, yeah, this like price is about to get ready and shoot up. Does that make sense? It's not gonna always be like this. It's not gonna always be bearish engulfing right next to it, small green one. Like it just won't always be like that. Does that make sense?
Oh, I have a question.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Say that again.
I had a question. So back to that previous question that was just asked. So is it safe to say that your engulfing candle is going to be close to you going off whatever engulfing candle is close to your trend line and your flag when you're doing your retest?
I'm kind of confused.
So he asked why you were using the last candle in the peak to determine which one was the engulfing candle. But to me, it looked as if that was just the closest candle to the trend line that you drew.
You talking about on this example?
No, I'm talking about where you were before you just went to this, because that was the question that you were still talking about.
You talking about here? I was on a 1 hour of GA. So you talking about here?
Right. So he was asking about if the engulfing candle is gonna always be at the peak.
Oh, of the flag. Okay.
Right.
Well, right.
So, I was asked. To me, it was seeming as if that just where the candle was, at the retest. So is it safe to say that on your trend, when you draw your trend line, your engulfing candle is gonna be, closest to the trend line because that's the retest? I mean, I don't know if I just worded that right.
No, I don't think you did, because like you lost me again. But it's I can't really explain it. Like, all you know is when price, like, I think you're going too deep into like kind of even that question when it was, is it always gonna be at the peak? I think you're going too deep with it, like trying to see too much of that or whatever the case may be. And we're gonna talk about like flags a little bit more when we get into entries and all of that. But at the same time, I don't focus on, like, I guess the peak per se, like whatever, like, cause you don't know that's the peak at the time. You know what I mean? Like, you just won't know that or whatever. It's certain things that I look at, but one of the things I look at is the engulfing candle, regardless if it's at this trend line or not, because this was a flag at one point in time. Like before, let me show you. This is actually one big flag right here, but at first you don't know that. So what all you see is literally this right here. And when all you see is that, right, what ends up happening? Price ends up shooting out of it. Does that make sense? So price ends up shooting out of that. So I wouldn't know that price is going to come back up. In my head, I'm about to get my continuation to the downside based off of what I'm seeing, possibly. I'm going to keep getting that continuation down. Does that make sense? No? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So, like, just don't get caught up in all of that. That's all. I just say all of that to say, just don't get caught up too much. Everything, like, I'm kind of talking about things to you all in pieces right now. So everything that I'm talking to you all about, like, just take that, and then we're like all the other stuff, it'll kind of add up later. So just understanding engulfing candles, like, it's a great sign to show you that price is about to get ready and turn around and go into that direction when you see that engulfing, right? So any other questions on engulfing candles?
Yes, I have a question. So with the engulfing candles, are we looking at the total candle, talking from the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick, or the body of the candle?
The body.
I'm a little confused on that one.
I focus on the body, the body. So let me see if I can find a quick example for you all. It's strictly the body. I don't pay attention to the wick, because sometimes the wick, the overall, let's say I got a small candle and then I got a big bearish candle, right? My wick on this candle could still be all the way down here. I'm focused on where this candle opened and closed and where this one opened and closed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, that one's not even a debate. The body. I focus strictly on the body, just like this, right? This is kind of a good example. Look at that wick on this candle right here, right? If I had to include this wick, this wouldn't be this candle wouldn't have engulfed this, because they're pretty much the same size. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So everybody understand that? Everybody get that? Cool? Okay, cool. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about, matter of fact, before I even do that, also understand that, the next thing I want to talk to you all about, and I saved the best for last, is time frames. Time frames. Now write this down. This is literally the most important thing that you need to know when it comes to trading in the foreign exchange market. Honestly, what I'm starting to realize, it doesn't matter if it's market structure, it doesn't matter if it's institutional trading, it doesn't matter if it's alien waves, it doesn't matter what you're at, and it's crazy because I noticed that, and I didn't notice this a while ago, but I've noticed now very, very big that some quote unquote educators, they don't specify how important that is because they don't even know how important that is, right? So however they actually trade, they're not instilling into people knowing and understanding time frames. This is literally the most important thing that you need to know and understand when it comes to trading. Time frames. If you understand time frames, that's what keeps me, Forex and Chill, GG, the entire Market Hunters family, very, very profitable week in and week out, right? Is because we have not mastered, but we have gotten very, very familiar and very, very knowledgeable of knowing and understanding time frames. And this took me months, hours upon hours upon hours to really realizing this. That's why I'm able to actually start at the monthly and drop all the way down to the 1 second. You know what I mean? Because looking at knowing and understanding time frames keeps me ahead of the game before the game even starts, right? So we're going to talk about time frames now. So now, when it comes to time frames, can everybody tell me what significant, what does each candle represent on each time frame?
Yeah, the monthly is one candle is a month. On the weekly, one candle is a week. On the daily, one candle is a daily. On down.
Exactly. There you go. So we're gonna start there with my boy E, like he say. We're gonna go to the monthly. So we are in the 1st of May. So I'm gonna actually delete May. Let's delete May. So May is gone. We're not gonna talk about May. Why? Because there's only been one day in May. So we're gonna talk about the entire month of what was last month? April. This right here is what happened in April. This line right here on the monthly. Remember, I'm on a monthly time frame. 1 month, right? How many weeks do I have in a month?
Average 4.
Right. I have about 4 weeks, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna drop down to the weekly. Remember why I drew this yellow line at, right? I drew it right through my April, April candle. So I'm gonna drop down to the weekly. Boom, look at that. This is how many candles I had within the actual week. Through the actual month of April. This is how many weekly candles I've had, right? Now, how many days are in a week? 4 days.
5.
5 trading days. 5 trading days.
Trading days.
Right, 5 trading days, right? So with that being said, I dropped down to the daily. Boom. Look how many of these daily candles I had in the month of May. Do you all see this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see the same line that I drew in the month of the month of April, right? When you see this right here, right? Look how many candles I now have on the daily. Can you see it as I'm tuning in and I'm dropping down time frames, right? I'm gonna go to how many 4-hour candles do I have in a day?
6.
6, right? So for every one of these candles, I'm gonna have 6 of these on my 4-hour. So that's gonna do what? I'm gonna see what? More candlesticks. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that clicking? Is that making sense to you all?
Yes.
Now, how many 1-hour candles do I have in a day?
24.
24. So for every 1 4-hour candle, I'll have 4 1-hour candles. So meaning, if I drop down, look how many more candles I'm gonna see. This is all within the month of May. Now you see how I went from the monthly right here. I got 1 candle, right? It's a down move. It's a big down candle right here, right? But when I drop it all the way down to the monthly, I see a whole entire trend. I see an entire downtrend now. Do you all understand that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did that open some of you guys' eyes up?
Oh yes, thank you.
And I literally 5 minutes. I go to the 5 minute. Look how many 5-minute candles I've had through the entire month of May. Because for every 5 minutes in that month, this is how many candles I get. Look how many, can you all see how I'm getting the patterns that I'm seeing throughout the time frames? Mm-hmm. As I continue to drop down time frames, I'm seeing more and more patterns. Why? I'm getting more and more candlesticks. Does that make sense?
You're getting more and more information per the time frame.
Bingo. There you go. So, does anybody have any questions when it comes to time frames? Do you all understand that?
Yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do you look at the engulfing candlestick on the monthly as well?
Not necessarily. I don't, because you don't get a lot of monthly engulfings, right? So you may see one monthly engulfing maybe once a year on a specific pair, because you only get 12 candles a year off the monthly. So very rarely will you see a monthly engulfing, if that makes sense. And as we're speaking, like, it almost looks like that's what we just got last month on GA, right? So I've just noticed that based off of you just pointing that out. But man, so what that means is that this actual pair may end up dropping hard really, really soon for a while. That's what that may mean. But for the question, to answer the question, Obi, I do not look at that for the most part. I don't spend too much time on the actual monthly time frame to really analyze that much. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions when it comes to that time frame, to time frames? I need you all to understand this, because when we get into marking things up and we get into going through our charts and stuff like that, this is really what, like, this the psychological part, which is probably the most important part of trading. I need you to know that when I'm dropping down time frames, I'm getting more information. I'm seeing more. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it does.
Yes,
it makes
sense.
But can you show an example of where on a smaller time frame it equaled something on a larger time frame?
Well, I already did that. I told you. On a monthly, I got one big red candle, right? And I showed you how on the 1 hour, that one big red candle gave me an entire downtrend on the 1 hour.
I got you. Okay, never mind.
Right. Any other questions?
So when you're marking up your charts for the week, that means you just maybe like glance at the monthly? You don't really look at it to mark up your charts?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We're gonna get through that in a minute. We're gonna start marking up charts really, really soon, but I'm going through the basics of the ins and outs so you all can see. I told you everything that we do adds up. Some of my private students, like I seen Yaz on here talking to everybody. Like she understands and she knows that. Like she gets why that's like why I'm doing what I'm doing, and eventually, I don't spend too much time on that monthly. That monthly, I pay attention to it, but I look at that the least. Make sense?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. So, any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. Looking at the screen that you have up right now, the yellow line is going through. It looks like the candles right after that are all going up, even though it looked like the monthly made it look as though we were in a downtrend. How would I know it was going to pull back in a buy as strongly as it did from what I'm looking at right here and then continue down?
Well,
I'm just a little bit confused with that.
I get what you're saying. I'm trying to think of the best way to answer that. Ask that one more time, because yeah, just one more time. It was a good question.
The screen that I'm looking at right now, where your yellow line is,
okay,
the candles right next to it to the right are all in a buy. They're all going up.
Well, I wouldn't say all, but I would say the few candles right here, like what you're saying.
Okay.
You're talking about right here, correct?
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, you see that here on the 1 hour. What does my monthly tell me?
The monthly candle showed a bullish, right, a bearish engulfing candle, which makes me think it's going to continue down. But how would I know it's going to go up before
right.
it
So
continues down.
right, I got you. So with that being said, remember, this is, first of all, you see, this is crazy because I didn't even notice this, but notice this is a wick, right? So meaning when we left the month of March, right? March closed and opened right here, and it shot up some, and then eventually by the end of the month, it shot down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one thing to notice, even though, again, that's nothing that I will pay attention to. Let's drop down to the 1 hour. You go to the smaller time frames because why? The smaller time frames does what, guys? Somebody said it.
Give you more information.
Give you information.
Gives you more view. Right, gives you more information, right? So, Mrs. Faith, like when you was asking the question, when the month actually started, that's actually, you said, how would you know? Which was a great question. So we're gonna start on April 1st. April, right there, right? We're gonna take all of that off. What was price literally doing on April 1st? Somebody talk to me. There we go. What is that, Mrs. Faith? This is a what?
Oh, downtrend. Okay.
Well, not downtrend. It's not a downtrend. It's definitely an uptrend, number one.
The candles right next to it, the green candles are going up, and then it's a flag.
There you go. So we got an impulsive move. We got a flag. So even though later on throughout the month, remember, we don't know what's about to happen over the course of the next 30 days. We're not focused on that. We focus on the next couple of hours because we're on the 1 hour time frame. Based off what I'm seeing, I see this is an impulse. This is a flag. A flag is a confirmation for what?
Continuation.
A continuation, right? So that's how I know price is about to get ready to continue to go up, at least somewhere towards this area. In my mind, that's where I'm at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? So that right there answers the question. Let's actually start. This is another thing that start answering the question. And again, this is going to be a part of the boot camp course as well, right? So, matter of fact, I'm going to keep going. Keep going. Speed this up some for y'all. This is how I like to look at the market, right? So I let that form. When it's all said and done, if you see the pattern enough, you'll start noticing that price after this flag, it did go up nonetheless, but it started to show me a reversal pattern. So it was telling me very, very soon, price is about to get ready to fall. Does that make sense? Mrs. Faith?
Yes, yes, it does. Yes.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, because again, what you're looking at is the overall monthly candle, opposed to looking at the actual, what the end result is now based off of, based off of the actual, the overall, we in May 1st now. But at first, off that candle right there, what you saw was, well, if I sold right there, I would have been losing because it shot up. Well, you wouldn't have sold right here because I saw this flag forming. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Let me know you understand it for sure.
Okay. I do.
Get it? Okay.
I think I do. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't want you to be confused, but that's literally that answer. Remember, when you go down smaller time frames, you get more information. You're looking at the overall higher time frame candle, right? Before, after the fact, I should say, before you actually saw the information on the smaller time frame that was giving you that type of information you needed to know. So very simple, very easy, but I do see, as someone who's looking back, how they can get confused on that. So that's why I'm saying you just want to look at the pattern on the smaller time frame prior. Because remember, this entire down move or downtrend is what happened in the month of April, the entire month of April. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Anybody got any other questions? Does that make sense? We all good? Oh, good.
You told us the time frame that you look at the least. What's the time frame that you look at the most?
That's another great question. Honestly, if I had to really answer that, and to be for a student, if I had to tell a student something, I would tell them the 1 hour. The 1 hour this time, because this is the time frame I trade off of. Now, the reason why I just thought about it so hard is because the one that I probably would look at the most literally now, because if I'm by myself, is the 5 minute. But that's because at that point in time, I've already determined what I've been looking for and all of that. And I can read the 5 minute like the back of my hand now. You know what I mean? But as a beginner trader, or even somebody who's still not just at that level just yet, like the 1 hour is the time frame that I tell you should live on, because this is the time frame I lived on for almost a year. Probably about until I had already made 6 figures. I had already made 6 figures and everything like that. I want to say I was probably about a year, and not a full year and a half, but a year. I lived on the 1 hour. Probably not even a year, honestly. I'm lying, because I'm thinking about when I met Gigi. When I met Gigi, I was already smoking the smaller time frames, and I wasn't a year in trading myself then. I met her in about October, November area. So I think I was probably like 9 months to a year in. Until then, I was like on the higher time frame. So I would say for everybody on this call, the one I spend the most time on is the 1 hour time frame. And that's because that's literally the time frame I look to determine whether I'm buying or selling, as far as whatever. I'll kind of talk about that soon too, but that's the one I look at. I used to enter off the 1 hour time frame, everything. I didn't even really know the 15 minute, 5 minute, all of that stuff even existed. You know what I mean? Too many times I done spoil people to where they trying to enter every trade off of the 5 minute, off of the 1 hour, 1 minute, all this and all of that, when they haven't mastered the 1 hour yet. They haven't got to the point to where like everybody want 10 to 20 pip stop losses. Don't nobody want to hold nothing in red. Like it's a journey. I used to have 100 pip stop losses. You know what I mean? And it was all based off of the 1 hour. So if I entered right here, somewhere in this area, right, my stop loss would be all the way up here or something like that, right? Because that's how I was taught. So does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right. So any other questions before we get into it? No questions? Everybody good? Okay, cool. So now let's get into the actual marking up. I'm gonna show you all how simple this is. You all got the household, like I guess details of impulse flag, right? Continuation. You also got engulfing candles, small candle, big candle, right? Give you another one. Another small candle, big candle. You got engulfing candles, and you also got time frames. Again, remember, time frames are the most important things you need to know. Yeah, 100 pip stop losses. I used to have. Well, I'm lying. They wasn't 100 pip stop losses. If you ask me, they would have been 100 pip stop losses. I really had like 50, 60, 70 pip stop losses, right? I used to have those. I never had 100 pip stop loss. I'm not gonna lie, but I used to have big stop losses. Now I'm very known for having really tight stop losses or whatever the case may be. So if it's a 50 pip stop loss, to me, that's 100 pips. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, because I do not want to risk 50 pips on a trade if I don't have to, or whatever the case may be. But so we got impulse, we got impulse flag continuation. Remember, this is literally how the entire market moves, right? That's important to know. And it's also important to understand your engulfing candles. And then the most important out of everything is your time frames. So that's why I'm gonna keep asking, does everybody have any other questions when it comes to time frames? No questions. Kind of Tiffany earlier too, based off your question, that was like, do you see why your question was important when it came to time frames?
I do.
Right? That's like when you say how do you know when this X, Y? Because of time frames. Time frames are gonna give you more information, right? That's why I didn't want to go too far ahead of that. But we're gonna go even deeper too on that later. You know what I mean? So, all right. So no questions, right? So let's go to our overall. Now we're gonna start marking up our charts, right? This is literally what I do when I'm sitting at home, got my music on, playing loud, you know what I mean? Anybody who know me know I'm always listening to music, right? This is literally what I do. So what's the most important time frame that I have? Because remember, what's the most important thing in trading is knowing time frames. What's the most important time frame?
The monthly.
E, why is it the monthly, E?
The monthly is telling you what the most of what the market is doing. If it's an uptrend, it's giving you the indication that that's an uptrend. All the other time frames to me are building the story inside the monthly. Like you have to have buys and sells on the other time frames in order to make the monthly what it is.
Pretty much that's what it is. Like the monthly time frame, everything gets inside the monthly. So if I'm focused on the monthly time frame, right? If I'm focused on that, not focused, I'm sorry. If I understand that the monthly is the most important, I can, by the time I break everything down, I'll know exactly where I'm at overall with everything. So that's why the monthly, that's why I always start with the monthly, right? I showed you all how I drew this line. As soon as I drew this line through here, I broke it all the way down. We was able to see a clean downtrend in the overall 1 hour time frame. So now, this is literally how I mark up my charts. Now, when I come to my monthly, I don't spend a lot of time here, even though it is the most important. But my trend lines are here to help me box price in. Like, the market does not see my trend lines. I see my trend lines. My trend lines are here to help me, right? Help me identify where I am in the market. It's like my GPS, right? I do not want to be in the market, and I don't know where I'm going. Like, the trend lines are my GPS. Now, think of the trend lines, boxing in price. When I say boxing in price, think of you sitting inside of a room, right? And when you sitting inside of a room, all four walls start closing in on you, right? And all four walls closing in on you, you panicking, you running around trying to find a way out of that room. You trying to find a unlocked door. You're trying to find a window to break, right? Like, you are price in this example, and the trend lines are the walls closing in as you're dropping down time frames. Does that make sense? Is there anybody who do not vision that?
Great analogy.
Right? Great. So with that being said, because my trend lines are here to help box price in, I automatically start boxing price in on the monthly. What do I mean by that? This is literally all I do on my monthly every single time. Just like this. I am officially done with my monthly. All I do is look at current price, which is right here. This is current price area. I see this was a high, right? It resisted here before. So this is my high right here. Would I have been wrong if I did this? No, I would have not. But because I see price resisted here a few times with these wicks, I just decided to do that. Same thing. It actually resisted here at the bottom. This is what I do here on the monthly, right? So this is all I'm focused on. I'm just focused on this boxed in area when it comes to this actual pair, right? Now, would I be wrong if I do this? If I come to my monthly and I do this? No, I wouldn't be wrong. I don't care that this is an overall downtrend. That happened back in 02, right? 20 years ago. I don't care. Do you know how long it is going to take price to get all the way up here? Unless something crazy happens, like, do you know how long it's going to take price to get all the way up there, right? So I don't focus on that. I only focus on this boxed in area. All I'm doing is boxing price in. So if I'm boxing price in, I'm just going to start by boxing price in. So I do that on my monthly, I drop down. Now, once I drop down to my weekly, right? Once I drop down to that weekly, at this point, the very first thing that pops up in my head every single time is, what trend am I in? Write that down if you got to. What's my trend from my weekly down, right? So anybody want to answer that for me?
You're in the uptrend.
I'm in the uptrend, right? Why am I in the uptrend?
Uptrend.
Because of higher highs.
Bingo. There we go. There we go. That sounds like my boy Steve. Was that you? That wasn't Steve? Okay. Probably wasn't.
Michael.
Oh, Michael. Okay. How you doing, Michael?
Good, sir. Thank you.
All right. So with that being said, guys, now, I always remember this. I always tell people this. My monthly, my weekly, my daily tells me if I'm looking for a buy or sell. They should always tell me, they should always pretty much be identical. It won't always be identical at the, like every single time, but based off what I'm seeing off of those 3 time frames, I should have a good indication by the time I get to the 4 hour and the 1 hour. I'm actually just waiting for that buy and sell to be ready. So my monthly, my weekly, and my daily tells me if I'm looking for a buy or sell, right? My 4 hour, my 1 hour tells me when that buy and sell is ready. Then my smaller time frames tells me when to enter into that buy or sell, right? And if you all don't understand what I mean just yet, just stay with me, but just keep that in mind, right? So I'm in an uptrend on my weekly time frame. Can anybody tell me how the market moves?
Impulse flag.
Impulse flag continuation, right? So this is a what type of trend again?
Uptrend.
Uptrend. So you're meaning, so in this uptrend, you telling me this uptrend is moving impulse flag continuation, correct?
Yeah.
That's what you all are telling me. Is there anybody that does not think that? Nobody. Okay, great. So you all are correct, right? So we got an impulse, we got a flag, we got a continuation. We got a flag, we got a continuation. We got a flag, we got a continuation. What comes after the continuation?
Flag.
Flag, right? So we got a flag, right? Exactly. So literally in the back of my head, my weekly time frame is telling me what?
Sell. Looking for price to go down.
My weekly is telling me I'm looking for a weekly sale, right? AKA a flag, right?
Terrell.
Uh-huh.
Is that flag determined, if you're on the weekly, that flag is determined on what the daily does?
You're ahead of me right now, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, impulse flag continuation, that's all I see. So I'm gonna drop down to the daily time frame. Now, as I'm at the daily time frame, what am I telling myself?
Downtrend.
Nope, that's not what I'm telling. That's not what I'm saying to myself. What am I saying to myself?
What trade on you?
Looking for a trend.
For the trend.
Exactly. And what trend am I in?
In an uptrend.
I'm in an uptrend.
Downtrend.
Oh, downtrend. Yeah, my fault.
No, I mean, I honestly, I want you all to like really pay attention to this, right? He said an uptrend. Now, he's not necessarily wrong, right? This actual trend actually broke, right? It actually broke. So it's no longer in the uptrend. But with that being said, when it broke like that, right? What did it have? What does it have to do once it breaks?
We had to have an uptrend for the correction.
Retest.
A retest. So it was an uptrend. Now, would he have been wrong if he said downtrend? I don't like this. I wouldn't have put that. But because this actually broke, me personally, because that actually broke that uptrend right there, if I'm by myself, by the time I drop down trend lines, by the time I drop down trends, I'm actually closing that I'm actually taking this off. This will not be on here when I drop down because I know at that point, whatever the case may be, I know that, it broke that. So I no longer need that.
It's not valid.
Say that again.
It's not valid after it breaks?
I'm not gonna say it's not valid, but I just don't. Yeah, you can, if you want to put it that way, you can say it's not a valid uptrend, right? So you can't say that, right? So, hey, Tracy.
Hey, how you
So
doing?
I'm good, but yeah. So with that being said, for the teaching purposes, I'm gonna actually keep that there just so you all can know where you are in the market. So I'm gonna drop down to the 4 hour, right? Now, as I drop down to my 4 hour, what do I ask myself?
What trend am I in?
Exactly. And what's the trend here?
Downtrend.
Matter of fact, I'm sorry. Let me go back to the daily real quick. I wanted to show you all something. So with that being said, that broke through. We got this impulsive move. It broke through this trend. We know that after price breaks through something, it has to do what?
Retest.
Oh, impulse. It gives me a flag, right? And then we're going to be looking for what after the retest?
Continuation.
A continuation to the downside. Does that make sense? Yeah. So my weekly told me sell. Why did my weekly tell me sell? Can anybody remember?
Because it broke the trend line.
Yeah, broke the trend line.
No. Remember, this trend line wasn't here. So I'm looking at all of this.
Because your weekly needed that correction.
Oh,
there you go.
You were.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like my weekly need this correction, just like it got this correction, just like it got this correction, right? I knew a correction was happening. Not only that, based off the weekly, but what type of candle do I got on my weekly? Remember, we talked about that.
That engulfing.
You see what I'm saying? Look at this strong engulfing candle on this weekly. That's an engulfing. This is an engulfing candle. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? Really strong down to the downside on the weekly time frame. Remember, the higher time frames gives you a larger story. So I see that on my weekly time frame. I'm looking for that. It's telling me sell. I drop down to my daily time frame. My daily is telling me I'm in the overall sale because it broke through this actual uptrend. It broke through. So now I can tell it's retesting, right? So if I drop down to my 4, does anybody got any questions on that?
How do we know when that flag is done?
You're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game. Right now, I want you to focus on strictly understanding structure of how the market moves.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
I have a question.
Okay.
So correction is flag, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Correction is nothing but a pullback. You just got, it's just a different name, right? So, does anybody have any questions when it comes to this monthly, weekly, daily on this pair? Why I'm looking for an overall down move for the overall trend of GA.
Hey Terrell, this is Adam. I want to say for me, it's a that part you just went over was pretty big, and I think I was missing it. Going back to the weekly and keeping track of those candles to know the direction, because and now I see it as you come down to the day and draw that trend line in the break. I don't know. It was just a big thing. I just wrote it in my notes because I think that's what I've been missing.
Okay, so you actually see why when I'm by myself, I usually delete this, right? I want as less confusion with myself as possible. But let's go back to the weekly, guys, because it sound like a lot of you all are scared to say so. And again, this is the last place you need to be scared to learn. Like, ask your questions, let me know. But with that being said, this is an uptrend. Remember, we deleted this when I went to the monthly. What did I do on the monthly, guys?
Boxed in price.
I just boxed in current price, right? The high and the low of current price.
You marked your highs and the lows.
Exactly. That's it. That's all I did, right? So from my experience, most people get pretty used to the monthly very easy. When my private students are handing me their homework, this is probably the one piece of their homework they never mess up most of the time. So does anybody have any questions on this part? No questions on this? Go on. No. What? No questions? Okay, cool. Great. So What our issue is right now is pretty much this weekly and this daily, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Cool. So now, with that being said, no problem. Like, that's why we here, right? I don't care about people being confused. Like, I'm expecting that, honestly. If you all are not confused, that means number one, you didn't need this, and number two, or number two, I'm not doing my job sufficient enough to where I'm answering those questions validly. So with that being said, as I drop down to my weekly, right? I'm focused on this box stand area. What do I do as soon as I drop down to this weekly time frame?
Identify the trend.
Right? So the first thing I ask is, what's my trend? I see I am in a what trend?
Uptrend.
Uptrend.
Right. I'm in an uptrend. Why? Because price is moving upwards, right?
And it's confirmed 3 times by 3 touches.
There you go. Right? So with that being said, what happened? Okay, I didn't. But anyways, Michael got it right. I got multiple touches on this actual uptrend. I got a flag. I got a flag. I got a flag. Flag, right? This is a continuation. What comes after a flag? I mean, what comes after a continuation? I'm sorry.
A flag.
Flag.
A flag. So I know prices at least gonna have to get me back down towards this trend line, right? So based off what I'm seeing on the weekly time frame, I'm thinking sell, because after I got this continuation, I know a flag has to come, because I know the market moves and post flag continuation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's how it moves. Any questions on that? So everybody understand that part on the weekly?
Yes.
Right? Adam, Adam,
Sir, I got you. I'm with you 100%.
Got me? Okay, cool. So now, with that being said, after I've determined that uptrend, what do I do?
You go to your daily.
Drop down to my daily. And as I'm dropping down time frames, what's happening?
You get more information.
More information, right? Bingo. You all seeing how this is all adding up, correct?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm gonna drop down time frames. So I drop down to my daily. Cool. Now, as I drop down to my daily, what am I doing? What am I saying?
What trend
Looking
am
for
I
your
in?
trend.
What trend am I in, correct?
Yeah.
So I ask myself, what trend am I in? I look, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm gonna just be honest. I'm like, well, I look like I'm in a downtrend, but then that actually broke. That's not a clean trend on a daily. In the back, this is me talking in the back of my head, guys. Just so you all know, this is what I would literally do when I'm sitting here with my music on, marking up my charts. First thing I do is I drop down to my daily. I'm like, well, I don't like this and that. Let me see. Then I come here, right? I'll do this and I say, oh, well, it broke, right? So what I would end up doing is I end up deleting this, and I just know as I drop down time frames that price broke it broke that uptrend. Hopefully that helps you all for you all to hear me talking to myself. That's why I'm telling you all what I do. So for the cases of teaching purposes of this training, of this boot camp, I am going to leave this here. But remember, I officially know based off my daily, remember, my monthly, my weekly, and my daily tells me I'm looking for a what?
You're looking for an uptrend.
Okay.
Oh.
A sell.
No. Sorry about that. I asked that question wrong. I'm sorry. That's my fault. My monthly and my weekly and my daily tells me what?
If you're looking for
What you looking for?
Right. There you go. There you go. Mrs. Inez nailed it. It tells me what I should be looking for, a buy or a sell. Right. So with that being said, it tells me what I'm looking for, a buy or a sell. That's all I really need to know when I'm on these higher time frames. So my weekly tells me I'm looking for a sell because why? My weekly is due for a flag, right? We've established that. Now I drop down to my daily. What is my daily telling me overall? Even if I just drew this one trend line, what do I currently know I'm looking for based off my overall daily?
A sell.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because it broke the trend line, and now it's retested.
There you go. This,
Sell.
yeah. Hey, did somebody just call me?
No, she said a sell.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Terrell. My bad. So, exactly, a sell because it broke through. So this uptrend is no longer valid. Does that make sense? So based off of my higher time frames, I now know I'm looking for a sale. Overall, does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Was that explained more clear, Adam?
Yes, I get it now. I just see where I was missing it. So I see what you're saying for sure. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So now, just because I have sale in the back of my head on my weekly and my daily, right, on the overall move, doesn't necessarily mean that price is about to, once I drop down, I'm just going to sell. This kind of goes into what Mrs. Faith was talking about earlier when she said what she saw on the monthly and on the 1 hour XYZ, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to sell just because that's what I'm expecting off of these higher time frames. Remember, as I drop down time frames, I get more information. So with me getting more information on the smaller time frames, my next move can very well be a buy. But I know where I'm at this point, what's like overall in the market. Because remember, I always tell everybody what? Always know where you are in the market. So right now, I know where I'm at. I know I got a breakthrough, and I know my higher time, because I got a daily breakthrough, a retest has to happen after that breakthrough. So literally on this retest, on a smaller time frame, that could be causing the market to do what?
Buy.
Buying, right? Hey, bingo, there you go. So I dropped down to the actual 4 hour. What's the first thing that I ask myself on the 4 hour?
What trend am I in?
What trend am I in, correct? So I actually see I was in a downtrend, but what did price do?
It broke the trend line.
It just broke that. So all I would do, again, delete that. And I would just go straight down to my actual, remember, in the back of my head, I still know this breakthrough, even though it broke through this trend right here, I still know this up move right here is what?
It's a flag.
Correction.
Flag.
Yes.
Somebody talk to me.
Flag for the daily.
There you go. You see how that adds up. On my daily time frame, this is a flag because this overall move still broke through my daily trend, my daily uptrend. So remember, this normally would not be here, but I'm keeping that there for you all for, again, teaching purposes. And if you actually look, I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to do that just yet. But I actually see that. Does that add up? Does anybody got any questions on that?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned that when it does the breakthrough and then it starts to form the flag, when it does the breakthrough, does it always have to have a retest? Does it always have to have a flag? Or could it still be, once it breaks through, just still continuing down or continuing up?
You will always get a breakthrough and a retest, but you will not always get a breakthrough and a retest on the same time frame. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and be that person to sit here and tell you I know which time frame is gonna give you a retest and XYZ, because I don't. Like I don't operate the algorithms of the market. But when you understand that, you're able to, like I told you all, like me, where I'm at now in my trading career, I can literally sit down on a smaller time frame and I can tell if it's going to be a smaller time frame retest or 1 hour retest or maybe even a daily retest. You know what I mean? Just based off where I'm at. I don't want to really get too much into that. I just because that's different level stuff right there. But what I will tell you is, just to answer your question vaguely, is that yes, anytime you get a breakthrough, you will get a retest.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool. So now, with that being said, guys, I dropped down to my 4 hour. I see that this is a actual flag. I mean, I see that this is actual downtrend, and it broke through here. So with it breaking through there, I would delete this. Also keeping in the back of my head that price is in the overall daily down move. Drop down to my 1 hour. What do I see on my 1 hour?
I see ascending channel.
Yeah, it's a pattern.
There you go. Some people are a little advanced right now. That's fine though. I spoiled them early. I'm spoiling you all, you new people now. I'm spoiling you all now, so don't worry. You all aren't there yet, but some of them I spoiled them early on, so don't be too mad. This ascending pattern. Remember, ascending pattern, this is a reversal pattern. We're gonna talk more about this tomorrow. I think it's on the schedule, but it is on the schedule with you all. So somebody asks, well, how do I know when this is going to be over? This overall daily what? This overall daily retest, correct? And
yes.
Y'all remember this was a retest, correct? We got the breakthrough. We got the retest, right? Somebody asked me, when do I know when this is going to get, when this is actually going to be done? Remember? Anybody remember somebody saying that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Now, with that being said, this is one of the ways that I would know when I start seeing this reversal pattern setting up. So now I want to look at this reversal pattern. I know price is about to get ready to turn around very, very soon and give me this overall higher time frame. What? Continuation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anybody who's confused on that? But do you all see how that story just added up all the way from the monthly all the way down to my 1 hour time frame?
Pretty much.
I'm a little confused because you said on the daily you ask what trend am I in, but on the 4 hour you ask what trend am I in too?
I ask what trend am I in on every time frame, not just the daily. Remember, I said
okay.
I said from the weekly down, what do I do?
Look for your trends.
There you go. I ask myself, what trend am I in? I look for my trend. My trends are going to literally it's literally going to add. And we're going to do some more examples, guys. This is the one I'm just going through the most. This is the first pair, so I'm kind of just dissecting it with you all. We're going to do more, and you all are going to see more examples of, oh wow, okay, this and that. It's going to hit you more. This pair is a little confusing anyways, just because it broke through this, it did that. You are going to see probably some pairs that came to a T, like, oh, now I got it. You know what I mean? But I vaguely, I just want to know that all makes sense to you all.
Yes.
Makes sense? Does anybody have any questions before we go to another pair?
I feel like I got lost around the between the daily and the 4 hour. I mean, I saw what you were showing. I was trying to take notes at the same time and keep up with what I was seeing because it was like an overload of information.
Okay, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. That's perfect. You know what? Let's go to RCAD. I like this. This is a very good example pair too.
I was going to ask you about the reversal too, like confirming that that's a reversal. How do we do that? How do we?
I don't want to get too deep into reversals. Ask the question one more time. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can.
Well, I was just saying, based on what we saw in the 1 hour, we said that was a ascending channel, which I know indicates that it should be reversing back. But how do we know for definite that that's what that may be?
I mean, you know, nothing in the market is definite, period. So I guess, like, to answer that, you won't. I mean, I hate to be kind of, seem like I'm trying to shut your question down. You don't know anything definite, but I'm going based off of market structure of what I'm saying overall in the market. I know overall I'm looking like very good signs that I'm looking for price to continue to go down based off my weekly. I got price I got engulfing candles. That's number one. Strong engulfing, right? So that's one good confirmation that price is heading down. I also know because the market moves in post flag continuation, right? Based off of this overall uptrend of the market, and I know that this is a continuation, so I need a flag based off of this uptrend. And even if I want to go deeper, remember the market moves how, guys?
The post flag continuation.
Exactly. So when I'm looking deeper, this is an impulse. What is this pattern here?
A whole flag.
So what's that?
Should get a continuation.
See what I'm saying? So like that, these are just confirmations. Like I just stack confirmations, guys. I don't like again that definite word. Like there's nothing definite about it at all. My confirmation that my 1 hour time frame is adding up to my daily because my daily broke through. So after this breakthrough, I know I got to get a retest, and my retest is a flag. So now when I drop down to my 1 hour, that flag, aka that retest, is ascending, telling me price is about to get ready and turn around very soon. Just like price did the exact same thing right here in this flag. This was an impulse to move. This was a flag. What did price start doing at that flag? Retesting. Then we end up getting that continuation. The market does the exact same thing every time. It may look a little different, but it does the same stuff.
And he'll be able to really see it on the lower time frames.
Bingo. The smaller you go down it, the more you'll see. So, of course, I'm not going down to the 5 minute and all of that because I don't want to confuse you all, but I need you all to understand this. That's why I'm not going lower than the 1 hour right now. But, yeah, I can see this pattern right here even clearer on a smaller time frame. Does that make sense?
No, it's crystal clear. I get you.
All right. So let's go to RCAT. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Again, guys, like I'm not expecting you all to like, oh man, that just okay, cool. You know what I mean? So as you all can see, I'm looking for an overall sale on this. I like this is marked up from this past week or whatever the case may be, right? So I'm gonna delete all of this. Let's go through it overall. Let's go through the overall charts. So going through the overall chart of RCAD, where do I start?
Monthly.
On the monthly, right? E, why do I start on the monthly?
Tells us a story.
Because the monthly is the overall story.
There you go. So I'm gonna start at the monthly, right? So let's go to the monthly. What do I do on my monthly, Tracy?
You look for your highs and your low.
Look for my high and my low, correct?
Your low.
There you go. So looking at that, this is my low. Honestly, we can go right here. We'll say that's my low, right? You can do here as well because I'm looking at the body of price. Price actually is struggle here. You see it wicked out here, wicked out there. So I actually personally like this more, but I'm gonna just do right here, right? I don't get too caught up in that, and I'm gonna go to the high. This is the high right there, right? So I just look strictly at that.
Terrell?
So,
So you went lower than the previous low. How did you make that decision?
When you say the previous low, what do you mean?
Well, isn't the previous low where that bearish, a bullish engulfed the bullish candle? Go up higher, right there. Isn't that the previous low?
It is. Again, like I said, normally I would go right here too. So you're not wrong at all. Honestly, guys, like you're not wrong if you do this and this. Like I just like there's no rule that you have to do just two lines, right? Like I just do that because I like least is more for me. I just like you all see people do stuff like this all the time, don't y'all? You go on their charts looking like this.
Yeah, I hate that.
Right, like so there's no like you're not wrong with what you're saying. Like I'm just, just for like this is literally how I look at it. So honestly, and like I told you, if it was just me, I would just have this as well. I just did this so you all can like some people, this is what they're going to see. Through my experience, they're going to see this more. Why? Because they look at all of this. But just so it makes you, just so it makes it easier for me, and because you pointed it out, I will just keep it right there.
Well,
right?
I'm just trying to follow the rules of marking up a chart for myself. That's on me.
Right. No, I get you, and you're not wrong. I definitely understand. So to answer you, like, that's not wrong. Again, if I was by myself, this is exactly what I would do as well. Just like that. Just looking at this right here, this was a struggle area. We got this wick, and then price started to turn around. So this is an area where I can tell price is struggling, and it's struggling to break this area. Right? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just keep it there for now. Let's go to
Terrell, one question, please. When you're doing the monthly, do you do the body of the candle or do you do the wicks as well?
I mostly focus on the body. I know. Let me take that back. I do the wicks unless the wicks are crazy. So these are not crazy wicks. If the wicks are crazy, then I'll do the body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm asking because I saw that you did the wicks down here, but then when you went up here, you did the body on the top.
Yeah, because right here, again, I literally would do here. So let me just do normally what I would normally do, I guess, since I'm kind of confusing people. I would normally do here, and me normally doing here, I'm focused on the wicks. Why? Because price kept wicking out there. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So the reason why I had it up here on the body is because only one wick was here. It's only one little wick right here. So I didn't get multiple touches of struggle. So I got multiple touches right here, struggling. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right, so I'm gonna just keep it there so you all are not confused, right? Now, I've determined that on here, I drop down to my weekly. Now, as I drop down to my weekly, what do I do, guys?
What trend am I in?
Identify the trend.
That's right. And what's that trend? What's the answer?
Downtrend.
Downtrend, correct? So, I'm gonna go here. Well, yeah, we'll come here. Kind of went through that a little bit, so I like this better. I got more touches on that. So, come into this downtrend. All right, downtrend here. All right, so any questions on that?
Well, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you go through the candle?
Because I just wanted multiple touches. Like I could have did this. I wouldn't have been wrong. I just wanted multiple touches right here. There's no, I just went through that little piece. Sometimes that's what the market does. Remember,
wouldn't it be better, not better, but to start at that engulfing candle right there where you got the cursor at, yeah?
You said who?
Would it have been okay to put it at that engulfing candle right there?
Yeah, it would have. So, I mean, I ain't gonna say it would have been better, but it wouldn't have been wrong.
And not necessarily better, but would you have been wrong by doing it?
Yeah, no, you wouldn't have been wrong. I just, again, I'm trying to get as high as possible. So I just did that, right? I just want a valid downtrend. I want to see multiple touches here, right? This allowed me to see multiple touches on that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. Yes, and you also started at the previous high.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of made myself start here as best as possible and still get those multiple touches. You see price? This sometimes, Gigi, you want to talk about, not talk about it, but you want to kind of just throw the word out there, like what something like this is?
I'm sorry, say that again. I had the volume down.
You want to talk about, like, not talk about it, but you want to kind of say your words or like what this is, because people kind of, they see me draw this trend line, but I drew it kind of through.
What that is like, you hear people call it a fake out. What it really is a run on liquidity. They want to hit your stop losses and kick you out of the market, and then the market goes your direction. So I know we used to teach, don't draw anything through your trend lines, but he's just giving you a visual of how, even though that trend line got penetrated or broken, that the market still went with his overall trend. If he looks at that on a higher time frame, that is nothing but a wick. So you'll see as it starts getting more advanced, like you can have a 4 hour and it's nothing but wicks, and you have like equal highs. But then when you go down to like a 15-minute, you're going to see like an impulse and a correction. That wick now turns into candles or price action. So this is getting a little bit more advanced, but he did it for a purpose, and he'll get into that when he gets on entries.
Yeah. So now, does that make sense though, guys? Again, just to kind of, all I'm just looking for nice, clean touches. And with me going through that, it just allowed me to get clean touches. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Okay, cool. Cool. So now, how does the market move, guys?
Impulse correction.
Impulse, flag, continuation.
What is that right there?
Impulse.
Impulse.
What is this right here?
Flag.
Flag.
What is this right here?
Continuation.
What is that right there?
Flag.
What is that right there?
Impulse.
What is that right there?
Flag.
What is this right here?
Continuation.
Right? This right here. Right, that's a flag. So then we got what after that?
Impulse.
Impulse, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continuation, right? So now, with that being said, what I also see, based off of that, where am I at right now off this continuation right here?
Price is correcting.
Monthly low.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. I'm at a monthly low. So at this monthly low, right, what do it seem like I ended up getting?
That push up.
A push up, or AKA what?
Impulse.
Impulse.
AKA impulse, correct? And what happens after an impulse?
Correction.
A correction. So if this was an impulse up, my correction is doing what?
Down.
It's going to go down, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We on a weekly time frame. We haven't dropped down yet. Like we still like on the higher time frame. So let's drop down to the daily. So as I drop down to my daily, what do I ask myself?
What trend am I in?
What is your trend?
What's the answer to that?
Up.
Uptrend.
Uptrend, correct? Boom. Let me clean that up for y'all a little bit. Sometimes I'll be up in here just moving, man. So don't want to move too fast on you all. Just so I'm in a nice uptrend, correct?
For now.
Do you all see that?
Yes.
Any questions on that yet? No questions, correct? Okay, cool. How does the market move?
Impulse, flag, continuation.
What is this right here?
Impulse.
Impulse.
What is this right here?
Flag.
Flag.
What is this right here?
Impulse.
Impulse.
Continuation.
What comes after that?
Flag.
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 And with my flag would be going into what direction?
Down.
Down, right? So based off of my daily, I'm expecting what?
A sell.
A sell, correct?
Right.
So let's see how accurate that is. Does anybody have any questions on that so far? Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's drop down to the 4 hour. What do I ask myself on the 4 hour?
What trend am I in?
What trend am I in?
And what is the answer to that?
Uptrend.
Uptrend.
Uptrend, right? I am in an uptrend. That's ugly. Me personally, I don't see any specific trend on here. The same daily trend line that I have, I can clean that up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just like that, just to kind of get it off of that. But for the most part, on my 4 hour time frame right now, I do not need to do anything. I drop down to my 1 hour time frame. What do I see on my 1 hour time frame?
Downtrend.
Price consolidation a bit.
Trending down.
Ascending channel.
Yeah.
Descending channel.
Reversal pattern for a push down and setting up for a sale. This sale that's setting up is nothing but a daily what?
Daily flag.
Yeah.
Flag.
Correction.
That's like we got this flag here. Flag. I'm going to need, based off of my daily time frame, I need a flag here too. That's it. And it may not look like a lot, but understand that this flag, that's this reversal pattern that's setting up is going to give me at least a down move of over 200 pips, minimum. Does that make sense?
Yes.
When I look left, what happened last time price came here? Shot down. Do you think price is struggling here on accident? No. Look, here, shot down, here, shot down, here, shot down, here, shot down. I'm here again. What am I expecting very, very soon?
Down move.
Shot down. This stuff happens repeatedly every single time. Every single time. And it all adds up. Going from the monthly all the way down to this 1 hour, it just added up to where I'm seeing this actual push to the downside. Does that make sense?
I understand that it's an ascending channel. I don't understand how it's a flag on the daily.
Because remember, always know where you are in the market, right, Michael?
Sir?
Okay. So with that being said, when we was at our daily, what did we do on our daily? What did we say on our daily? Should I delete all? Let me delete all of this, make it a little cleaner for you. Let me start back at the monthly. Sorry, let me hurry up and do this real quick so we can talk about the daily. Why you say that? To answer your question, I'm sorry. So went to my weekly. I saw this downtrend right here. All right. I'm at my daily, and what did I do? What did I ask myself? What did I do on my daily, Michael?
You asked what trend are you in?
And what was that trend that I was in?
Uptrend.
Uptrend.
Uptrend, right? So I'm in the uptrend, right, Michael?
Yes, sir.
On the daily, right? You understand that, correct, Michael?
Yes, I understand. I was talking, it was muted. Yeah, that yellow vertical line.
Right. That's right here, right? So in this uptrend, I get an impulsive move in the uptrend. What comes after this impulsive move?
Correction.
A correction, correct? And after this correction, what do I get after that?
Impulse.
Yeah, impulse, aka a continuation, right? So after this continuation, what do I get after that? Michael?
Ascending channel?
No. Remember what we're talking about. How does the market move?
Impulse, correction, continuation.
Right. So what was this right here?
Impulse.
What is this right here?
Correction.
What is that right there?
Continuation.
What happens after that?
Flag.
Flag.
No, don't answer for him. I mean, this is literally the question he asked. I don't get how the daily, that's going to be a daily correction, right? That's what you asked, Michael, correct?
Yes.
Right. So do you understand how this is going to be a flag? Just like we got this flag here, do you understand how that's going to be a flag there?
It comes after the continuation.
Exactly. That's how the market moves, correct?
Correct.
So does that answer your question when we drop down to the 1 hour time frame, when we see this reversal pattern, you say you understand this part, do you see how we're going to see price at least drop down towards that trend line, which is going to give us an overall daily flag, just like we got this daily flag, we're going to get a daily flag here, which is going to produce us 200 pips. Does that make sense?
Hence the name daily flag, because it's moving in a flag towards the daily
trend line. There you go.
Trend line.
There you go. You just know where you are in the market.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
No problem. So, man, is this adding up to you all now, guys? Are you all seeing this as we're breaking down time frames?
Yes.
Yes, much clearer.
Definitely.
Cool. So this is it, guys. Like, this is all you have to do, right? So I did not, time just got away from me. But we actually started 10 minutes after whatever. So we actually right on schedule. But yeah, this is literally how I look at it, and everything adds up. So we see based off of that, like, also not to go too deep into it, but look what price came, guys. Just like price came, what trend line is this right here that I got my cursor on?
Weekly.
My weekly, right?
Weekly.
My weekly was in a downtrend. There you go. So just like price came to this weekly trend line, it fell. Came to this weekly trend line, it fell. Came to this weekly trend line, it fell, right? Look what price is at now. At this where?
Weekly trend line.
There you go. There you go. And I just want to remember, I'm boxing price in. Let me clean all of this stuff up, and I'm going to show you all even clearer. Let's go back to the monthly. Go back to the monthly here. Boom, boom. Just like that. Go to the weekly, asking myself what my trend is. I'm going to start it. I'm going to go to the downtrend, right? Go to the weekly, to the daily. When I go to the daily, I got an uptrend. At this point, look what I've been doing all the way to my daily. What did I say at the very beginning these trend lines was here to do?
Box price in.
When I go down and I continue to look how much I box price in with just 3 trend lines or 3 lines. This line, which is my weekly, this line, which is my monthly low, this line, which is my daily uptrend. Look what I have, my next move. I have this area that's black. And based off of this area right now, price is actually showing me it's about to get ready and go in that area. Why? Because I'm actually in an ascending channel. And that area right there is a 200-pip move. All I did was just box price in and trap it to where now price is trying to run to that next window to try to jump out that window, or that next unlocked door to get out that unlocked door to eventually is going to do what? Bust out the actual door or bust out the actual window. Does that make sense?
Can you go over those 3 lines again, please?
When you say go over it, I really didn't go over anything. I'm not going to say anything. Of course, I'm going over some of this training. But I really didn't specify those 3 lines for the most part. Do you know why this is my weekly trend line right here?
No.
You don't know why?
Is it because you boxed in price on the weekly?
No. What was the first thing? What did I do on my weekly?
You asked what was the trend.
Okay, and that answer to the weekly was what?
That it's in a downtrend.
Bingo. So let me take this off. Maybe these other trends are confusing you. So I'm on the weekly. I drew this downtrend, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now go to the 4 hour, because that's where I was at when you asked, what line is this?
Okay, that's your trend line on the weekly.
There you go. Make sense?
Okay, yes.
So remember, on my daily, what did I do on the daily?
You asked what was the trend line.
And what was that trend? Say that again.
You asked what was the trend, and the trend is a downtrend.
Right, that for my weekly. But when I went to the daily, what did I ask?
What is my trend?
And what was the trend on my daily? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. It's an uptrend. Uptrend.
Bingo. Right.
Yes.
So you see that? Remember, because when you just asked the question you asked it while I was on the 4 hour, right? So I'm still on the 4 hour. Do you see why I say this is my daily uptrend, my weekly downtrend? This is my monthly support, my low.
That answers the question. Thank you. I was wondering where those 3 lines came from. Okay.
Okay. So remember, all we doing is boxing in price with the trend lines. So that's why we started from here, and then we just working our way down. Make sense? Because as I'm working down time frames, I'm doing what when I drop down time frames, guys?
Boxing pricing.
Getting more information.
Getting more information. There you go. So the trend lines are helping me guide is my GPS all the way down time frames. So does this make sense to everybody?
Yes.
It sounds like a lot of you all really had some aha moments or whatever. You caught on
Yes.
to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right. Okay. Any questions before we get ready for lunch?
Yeah, I got one quick one.
What's up, bro?
All right, so if you were to draw that weekly trend line, right, instead of using that body, and you drew it from that wick up top, and got your multiple touches, how do you not get caught up with that small push up and what's happening right now being a retest, as opposed to that being the top of your reversal pattern? No, not there. Let's say if you didn't cut through from the top. Let's say you use that same place where Najee said where you had your cursor, but what if you use that wick?
What you mean?
That same place where you got your cursor right now, from that where you drew that. Yep. Now say if you pulled it up to that wick.
Well,
Yep.
I mean,
that would be a different story.
I mean, it wouldn't, because at the end of the day, even if I did that, like I would need multiple touches, bro. But
Right.
I told y'all I don't focus on wicks
Okay.
that much. I focus like this gives me a clean trend. Like that's why I broke through that when I was here. Like it gave me a clean trend or whatever. That's still the same. Something like this throws my trend all the way off.
Yep.
I can't really explain. It's just like a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I've been doing
Because
it so
you
long.
need a valid trend to validate your flag, so you want as many touches as possible. That's the way I look at it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And this here is just like I feel weird just even like when you just ask the question, I'm like,
Because I've seen that before. I've seen using the huge wicks. That's why I said that.
I ain't paying attention too much. I need a nice clean trend. You know what I'm saying? Because the cleaner my trend, the cleaner my actual analysis will be. You know what I mean?
Mr. Banks, as far as your monthly, you use the wicks, but on your weekly, you use the body.
So now remember what I told you on the monthly. What am I paying attention to on the monthly?
Highs and lows.
The highs and lows, right? I told you all, if the highs and lows are like, I use the wick here, and that's just because what this like is struggled here. You know what I mean? But I still use the body for the if I wanted to. I'm just looking for highs and lows. I don't get too caught up in the monthly wicks versus the body. I just need to see multiple struggle at that area. If this right here was literally the body, I would have still did that. I would have still had this here. It just so happened to be wicks here, right? So like here, like this is the body. Like remember, I originally put it right here until Michael said what he said. So I just said, you know what? Let me just keep it there. Because I want to have as little confusion as possible. So, but for the most part, it does, like I don't get caught up in the wicks and or the body on a monthly. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, got it. Thank you, sir.
So I'm just looking for struggled area on my monthly. And then on the weekly, I'm not necessarily looking at the using the body. I'm more so looking at the trend. So I don't focus on wick or body on the weekly. I'm looking at uptrend or downtrend. And I want to get as clean as trend as possible. Make sense?
I got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sure, I have a question right here. Sorry, I have a question right here on the weekly, where you have where you start the trend and then you have the impulsive move down, the correction, continuation. Where you have those green candles going up, the bullish candle going up. Why would that be a impulsive move to the upside as well? And where will you find the correction that looks like an M right in here? How do you start the correction? Looking for the correction right here. Right here.
Talking about right here.
No, back where you are. We were closer where we start the trend, right? The trend line. Right. And then we have the move down, right there where you have the cursor, impulsive move down. We have the correction, then we have the impulsive move down, then we have this pullback to the trend line. Where in that where we have the second touch right there, right? Where you have, right? No, back one to the left, right here, right?
Okay.
I know this is the correction, but where, the fact that we haven't had this started, we're right here, the correction move.
You
Yeah.
broke up when you started your question. Can you say that
Okay,
again?
we have this impulsive move here. Can you show me the correction from where you are right now, where you draw the first line on the trend line, the correction for that impulsive move to the upside?
I'm totally confused. Say that one more time.
Okay, where you have the trend line, we have the impulsive move down. Where it
This,
starts at the,
this supposed to move down, correct?
no, the first touch
Okay.
of the trend line. We have the move down, the bearish move down.
Okay.
Then we have the pullback, the correction.
Right.
And we have the continuation.
Right.
We have a string of candles to the upside. I would see that as another impulsive move, right? I'm trying to figure the correction in that move.
You said we have the okay.
You
lost me after this continuation. You lost me.
Terrell, where you had the green candles, the uptrend, she's saying that she would consider that an impulse instead of a correction.
Right.
Right
But,
here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not though.
Okay, so you're saying this is an impulsive move?
That's what I'm seeing. I'm trying to figure out the correction for that move.
So with that being said, what time frame are you on?
The weekly?
The weekly, right? So you're seeing this as an impulsive move up?
Right.
And why are you saying that? Let me ask you that first before I kind of...
Because I'm not seeing a pattern, so to speak, and my understanding for correction normally have a pattern where you have the bearish, bullish candles.
So even if that is true, what time frame are you on?
The weekly?
So do you trade off your weekly?
No.
Right. So with that being said, like this up move, you're not wrong that this is being an up move, but in my overall weekly time frame, I'm in a downtrend. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's delete all of this because I want you all to see this as I'm dropping down. Hold on. All right, we're gonna take all of this off and we're gonna keep this here. So when I drop down, let's go to the time frame that I personally trade off of, which is the 1 hour. We're gonna go find that area. Bingo. Right? So that's a weekly flag. We've already seen that, correct? That was a weekly flag, correct?
Okay.
But on the weekly flag, that weekly flag on my 1 hour time frame, it was a what? Uptrend. Right? And with that weekly flag on my 1 hour uptrend, it gave me an impulsive move, it gave me a flag, and then it gave me a continuation. A flag, a continuation, a flag, a continuation, and then I got up to, I'm sorry, that continuation, then I got up to where? My weekly trend line. And then I end up getting my weekly continuation all the way to the downside. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so.
Terrell?
Uh-huh.
Also, can you say it's, I understand what he was saying about that, but when you're looking at the weekly, can you still see, well, yes, the sell is still valid because it never broke the previous flag in order to justify also the downtrend is still going?
She's talking about it never broke your previous high. If you look left, it never took out your previous high up there.
You talking about this right here, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you just ask a question or did you just comment to
I
her?
was just saying that also to still validate the sell.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you know, like, again, whatever. So there you go. So with that being said, guys, again, y'all already know what the schedule is. We are about 20 minutes behind, so we will be back 1 hour from now. Anybody got any questions? Everybody good?
Hey guys, if y'all need to close out your Zoom, you can just use the same link to get back in. The Zoom will still be running.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you all in about an hour and 5 minutes. Cool?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.